Hi and welcome. I'm Jen and I know toxic shame. I struggled with it for over 30 years before I ever even knew what it was. But toxic shame is what kept me hiding my authentic self all those years. It was what was at the root of my social anxiety, my inability to set healthy boundaries with others, my addictions, and my struggles with anorexia. On this channel, I share what I've learned from studying shame for many, many years, and more importantly, from working to recover my sense of self from being bound in shame. So let's jump into it. By the end of this video, you're going to have a clear understanding of what toxic shame is. But first, it's important that you and I are on the same page and that you understand what shame is. So if you haven't watched the first video in this series that I created on healthy shame, I highly recommend that you watch that video first and then come and watch this one. So the link to the first video should appear somewhere up here in the cards. Go watch that one first and then come on back here and let's find out what happens when shame goes rogue, okay? All right. So for those of you who have watched that first video, remember the story from that video about the little girl who, in all her excitement, marches into the gathering of adults and is met by the questioning gaze of the chief. And then how that disapproving gaze triggered a shame response in the girl. And in an instant, her internal brake slammed on and reined in her excitement, causing a full-on shame response, a sinking feeling and a heaviness in her chest, her head lowered, shoulders caved in, and her eyes turned away. And then remember how her parents responded with connection and care, and how this allowed the girl to learn the appropriate behavior in the context of her tribe while still feeling supported and seen by her parents. The message that the little girl received was, "You are loved. We see you, we feel your excitement, and we're excited to share your new discovery with you. But right now it won't work. Later will." Staying connected to her parents in spite of the mismatch in expectations soothed her shame reaction, calmed her nervous system, which allowed her to learn from the experience. But what if instead her parents had scolded her or even punished her? In that case, her shame reaction would get all jumbled up, all mixed up with the emotions we all have when we're punished. Feelings of anger, feelings of not being understood, of not being good enough. In other words, instead of learning something positive from the experience while staying connected to her parents, she would be left feeling alone and defective. The message that the little girl would have received was, "You're bad. You did a bad thing on purpose and you must be punished for it. I don't love you." Her parents' reaction of disconnecting from her during her vulnerable shame state would intensify her shame. It would amp up her nervous system response and shut down her ability to learn anything positive from the experience. The way that our parents or caregivers react to us and see us is the way that we learn to see ourselves. So when a parent yells, ignores, or calls us names, rather than opening lines of communication and teaching us, we get the message that we're bad, we're unlovable. And if these interactions are repeated without repair, the beliefs become internalized as truths for us. And this is exactly how shame goes from a passing state into an internalized and toxic trait. Phew, right? I know this is like super hard stuff to wrap your head around, or at least it was for me when I was first learning about shame and toxic shame. So I'm going to do my best to summarize and hopefully make things super clear for you. But I want you to not hesitate to watch these videos more than one time, and feel free to reach out to me in the comments below and ask me any questions that you might have, because I read every single one of these comments and I will do my best to respond to you in a timely manner. All right, so here's a summary. So we humans, we're super hardwired to connect, attach, and belong. It's in our blood, it's in our bones. When we're young, the kinds of experience that particularly affect us have to do with this particular need to connect. We're so dependent when we're young, so it makes sense, right? We instinctively reach out to others for safety, for protection, to be seen, understood, and accepted. Now, the way that our caregivers react to us and see us is the way that we learn to relate to and see ourselves. If our expectations about reaching out are positive, yay, then we're going to feel safe. We're going to feel loved and lovable. But if, on the other hand, we're repeatedly met with responses that push us away or give us the sense that we're always doing something wrong, that we're unlovable, then we're going to learn to expect this in relationships. We're going to learn to expect that we're going to get hurt, and we're going to learn to see ourselves as defective and bad. These responses may come to us overtly by being punished, sternly lectured to, and abused, or they could come to us covertly by being ignored, invalidated, or scorned by advertisements and stereotypes. Whatever the case, the neural grooves of toxic shame get driven deeper and deeper into our physiology until it becomes this subconscious habitual trait affecting our sense of who we are without us even knowing it. When we're suffering from toxic shame, we have internalized the rejection that we felt from others. Now, instead of moments of fleeting shame in relationship with others, we experience ongoing shame in relationship with ourselves. When toxic shame becomes a trait, you believe, not in your head, but deep in your gut, that you are somehow fundamentally flawed. Now, for some people, toxic shame is an all-encompassing feeling of worthlessness. But as you'll see in the next video, link should appear somewhere up here, toxic shame can manifest in many, many different ways and levels of intensity. Now, I've put together a toxic shame quiz to help you identify if you're struggling with toxic shame. You can access it by clicking the link which I've posted below in the show notes, so check that out. Now, I want to hear from you. Leave me a comment below and share your experience with shame. Has shame ever turned toxic and infected your sense of who you are? And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up by clicking the like button. And if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to my channel. My intention is to grow this channel to help as many people as possible experience the freedom that comes when we emerge from the shackles of toxic shame. I put out new videos each and every Tuesday, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks for being here.